video, we look into Collaboratory or Colab for short. It actually allows us to execute Python in your browser itself. It has various advantages. It requires zero configuration. All the important Python libraries are pre-installed in it. It also provides you with free access to GPUs, which is graphic processing unit, and TPUs, which is tensor processing unit. And the server access to this are limited, but it's a good place where you can get started with. And it also provides you an easy way to share your notebooks with others. So collaborating with others and working is made easy with Colab. So we will be using Colab throughout the entire course in various assignments. So it's important that you know how to use Colab effectively. That would be taught in this video. As I said, Colab provides you hardware acceleration. We would be seeing how to use GPUs and TPUs effectively. Okay, let's spin a notebook. So you can just search Colab. So let's get into it. So in Colab, all the notebooks that are created is actually stored in your Google Drive. Okay, so these are the notebooks that are provided by Colab itself. So let's create a new notebook. So notebook is created. So this notebook instance is actually running in a uh, Google Compute Engine, which actually provides with around 12 GB of RAM and 107 GB of storage. So let's connect to it. Okay, fine. Let's see. Let's get connected. Before that, we'll just rename the notebook. Colab underscore. Okay. So we are connected. As you can see, connected to a Python 3 Google Compute Engine bag. It has 12 GBs of RAM and around 107 GB of disk storage. Okay, fine. What we'll do is we'll explore the various functionalities that are provided in Colab. So we have two kinds of cell. One is code cell and another one is a text cell. So code cell helps us to execute the Python code, and the text cell helps us to explain about the particular code. So by combining both of them, we will be able to provide a clear understanding of any concept using just a notebook alone. So we'll get started. So we can run any Python command in this code cell. So you can just, I'll just start with the print command. So you can see it actually gives you the doctrine of the particular function. Like a value should be passed, the separator parameter and the end. So it is shown in the, it's suggested over here. You can also put a question mark before a particular function, and the doctrine is printed over here. So you can see it over here. So similarly, you can use it for any function. So we'll just print a value. Hello machine learners. I'll just, like, you can use shift enter to run a particular cell. And what shift enter actually does is it creates a new cell, next new cell. Okay. Uh, I can create a variable. So I can run a cell like this by just doing it. So the cell is running. But what it does is it does not create a new code cell. So I have to again create a cell like this. Okay. It's actually executed before. So you can just run it and the value get printed. So in Jupyter Notebooks or Jupyter Lab, when you print a variable, when you just give a variable name, its value is printed. Okay. So we just saw, you can also import libraries. What makes Python very effective is the libraries that it has. Okay. So we'll be working on many libraries throughout entire course. We'll just start with NumPy over here, which is a mathematical library which is used extensively. Okay, so I'll just create an array. So I'll just create an array. So when I actually uh, install the NumPy array by ourselves, we are just importing it. So this Jupyter Notebook actually comes with many libraries by itself. So you can see it by executing some command line arguments. So actually what Jupyter Lab allows us to do is you can put a exclamatory and run any command line argument that you want. Like I can just list the directories, list the files in the particular directory. So ls, we just have sample data right now. Similarly, I can use pip command. So pip freeze helps me to list all the directories that are available. So pip freeze helps me to see all the packages that are available in this particular notebook. As you can see, Torch is available and XGBoost is there. It comes up with the most of the common libraries that we use, like TensorFlow is over here 2.2 version, and we also have Pandas over here and Matplotlib and most of other things that we'll be using. So it comes up with most of the libraries that we need. We can also add new libraries that you want by just using the command pip install. Okay, I hope this is clear. So till now we have seen how to execute the code cell. So now let us explore the various options that are given on the left side of the Jupyter Lab. So first comes the file. So the file, this is the major difference between a Jupyter Notebook and a Jupyter Lab. In Jupyter Notebook, you just have a code cells like this. In Jupyter Lab, you also have the access to the file systems, which makes our work much easier. So what we can do is we can actually upload a image files from a local system. We can also mount our Google Drive. Okay. So let's first upload an image from a local system. So I'm just going to upload a dog image from my local system. So a reminder is when your runtime is recycled, all your data gets lost. So just have a reminder about it. So our dog image is uploaded into the instance that is running. So when I execute the ls command right now, we should be getting two results: dog and the sample data. Okay, sample data, the data that are given by the pre-built. Okay, the California data set and normal ML data sets. Okay, fine. So we can also mount your drive. I will show you how to mount your drive with the code snippet. So Colab also provides various code snippets that you want to use. So I'll show you Kimple's code snippet where you can actually display an image. Okay, you can just search image and the store CV2 image code snippet appears. You can just insert it into the code cell. So this is the code that is getting inserted. So CV2.show helps us to actually print the image within the notebook itself. And in this code snippet, what we are doing is we are using curl to get the image, and we are using CV2 to read the image, and finally CV2 underscore show to print the image into the notebook. So once I'm running this cell, first the image is got using the curl command. Then I'm reading the image using imread, and it's printed. Okay. If I see the file explorer, I can see the logo .png added over here. So what I'm going to do right now is instead of printing the logo, I'm going to print the dog image that I have imported from the local, uploaded from the local system. So I can just rename, just give the file path. So right now the dog image has to be printed. Let's see. So the dog image is printed over here. So we have explored on the various commands that code cell provides us, and the functionalities this uh, are provided on the left side of the Colab. Okay, let's get into the text cell right now. So as I said, text cell is used to give a description about what you're doing. So I can add a text section like this, text section, and I can just do Colab basics. I can actually highlight the word alone. Like I can just put a, so the basics is highlighted. You can also italicize a particular sentence like your your environment. So as you can see the output, this is the output over here. You can see it inside or you can also see it lower. It's up to you. Okay, you can just change it. And you can also indent a particular sentence. So you can see the background format is different. Okay, you can format a particular sentence like welcome to collab. Okay, so I've done so far. What I can do is I can also edit it just by clicking on this or double clicking. So right now I'm going to add a link. So let's link our polydimensional website. And you can also change the text over here. Our website. Okay, it comes. And you can also have internet blocks. Okay, so what it does is it creates an intent like this. So technology. I'm just creating a content simply. So you can also add ordered list, like I'll just list some courses. Okay, it just provides you two listings, so I can add more. You can see it's coming as 1 and 2, but when you see the output, it's actually 3 and 4. Okay, so it works like this. I can just add here. Okay, I'm done with it. So I've linked it. I've created a heading and I bolded it. I have italicized the word. I've created a formatted text. I've linked us to our website, and see, as you can see, it redirects to our website. And I also created a indented block and listed a set of values. Okay, set of courses over here. So this is about Texel. You can do all the modifications you want. Combining CodeCell and Texel together helps you to provide a wonderful notebook where you can explain many of the concepts. So just to have a recap on the video, we started with the basic Python functions. We saw about the libraries that Python provides. We saw how to use command line arguments within the notebook itself. Later, we looked into the various libraries that are inbuilt with the notebook, which is being installed by itself. And we looked into how to upload an image from your local system. And we also saw how to print an image within the notebooks. One thing that I've not shown in this thing is that how to mount your drive. Okay, so I'll just show that also. So what you need to do is you can just search mount G drive in your VM. Okay, so what it actually does is you can just insert it. So this is the command you need to execute. So this actually provides you with a link. When you go to this link, you get an authorization code. If you copy this, your details get appended over here. So your G drive gets mounted over here. Since I've already done it, I'm just closing it. You can just pause a particular running cell by just clicking over here, and you can delete it. So since I've already mounted it, I can just click over here and it would connect it to my G drive and I'll get mounted. So the authorization is a one-time process. Once you have done, you can just directly mount it. So that's on the authorization part. So you can see the drive is mounted over here, and you can just look at the details. Okay, and you can just access the content over here. So this is actually the file system that you are using. So when I list it right now, I should be providing with also the drive directory. Okay, fine. I hope you learned a lot from this particular video. We'll explore a lot of capabilities that Colab actually provides. Actually, we have just scratched the basics. We also have many other functionalities in Colab, like accessing GPUs and TPUs, accelerated hardware, those are. And we'll also see some of the tips and tricks that Colab provides in the next video. Thank you for joining for this video. We'll look into see you in the next video.